This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Brandon Andrus Green.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast Live. You know what? There are plenty of places where someone can walk in, use equipment, and simply leave. Building a place where people actually feel known, challenged, and supported is a very different job. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Andy Smith with Body Masters. Andy, how's it going?
I'm doing great, man. I always say it's a great day when you're upright and breathing, right? So today is a great day.
That's so true. We're excited to have you on. We're excited to hear a little bit about you and Body Masters. So maybe for someone who's driven past Body Masters, maybe just simply heard the name, but have never stepped inside, what is it really?
We are just a local resistance training gym or fitness center. We tried to keep our recipe very simple. You know, I believe that there's always a lot of I'm going to call them fads, if you will, in the fitness world, right? CrossFit is one. May get stones thrown at me for saying that, but obviously 15 years ago, CrossFit, nobody had ever heard of it, right? And not to say that it's going away, but what you'll see with a lot of things, different things, Zumba, they'll kind of they have peaks and valleys, if you will. But one of the things that remains constant, I believe, in the fitness industry is just good old fashioned resistance training style facilities, right? Where you can show up. They've got a good, like a stretching area, if you will, somewhere that you can go in, do a little warm up or cool down. They're going to have some good cardio equipment, right? Obviously, that helps with everything from heart health to losing weight. And then they've got plenty of resistance training equipment, which gives you, whether you're looking to actually build muscle, tone, or just be in good shape, right? You can hit all of those things, if you will, at a place like Body Masters.
And how did you even get started in owning a gym?
It was crazy. I was in construction for a very long time. I sold the construction business at the end of 2023. Thought that at the age of 40, I guess, that I could slow down a little bit. I've since then discovered that I'm a bit of a workaholic, and I love the grind. I love working very hard. It makes me, obviously, I feel like I have a sense of accomplishment with that. And I actually went to Body Masters for several years. I was a member, just like all of my members today. And so found out that it was like October-ish, November-ish of 24 that Body Masters was going to be closing down. They didn't really have any prospective suitors, if you will, at that time, people that were had the ability to be able to step in and buy the business. There were some complications with the lease at the current location that it was at. There was complications. The equipment there was good, but dated. It kind of had, if you will, what I would say a lot of people would say, if you say, when I tell them I bought Body Masters, they go, oh, I remember that place is kind of like the grungy bodybuilding place, right? And so it had a little bit of a stigma attached to it, but I loved it. I mean, the idea behind it, like I just described, of having top quality resistance training equipment, to me is how I've always trained. I loved it. And so I went to the owner, who was going to just shut it down as of December 31st, 2024, and said, hey, man, I'm interested in buying this thing. And he had a lot of tire kickers, so he was a little resistive, but I had essentially gave him a letter of interest or letter of intent, probably second week of December, and then I closed on it, believe it or not, 2 weeks later, bought the gym. And then since then, we've taken it from the old space, which was basically on the west side of the complex here at 103rd Memorial, and we've moved it to the east side of the complex. But that move, what it brought was a completely updated facility. You can see the pictures online. I'm sure you've seen them. I'm sure people have showed you, man. It is top notch. I have no qualms about saying that it is the absolute nicest facility in the state of Oklahoma, period. It's great. I mean, not only from a aesthetic perspective, like how we actually designed it, everything from tile to paint and everything in between, but also the equipment that we have, the infrared saunas, the locker rooms. We have amenities like you would find at your house versus what you typically see in commercial gyms. So,
Wow. And what do you think? How would you kind of describe the culture at Body Masters, and how is it maybe a little different from the average large anonymous gym where people just kind of show up?
It's way different. I mean, I would say even at your big box gyms, we won't name any in particular, but you've always got a group of people that are there at approximately the same time you are that are working out, right? And at some of those places, I'm sure they have some camaraderie and some things that are similar to what we have at Body Masters, but they're not at the scale that we have. And if you come in, I typically work out in the morning. Some of my morning people, if they watch this podcast, are going to be like, he only shows up 4 days a week. And yeah, you're probably right. You know what I mean? I've got a lot going on, but my normal workout time is about somewhere between 5 and 5:30 a.m. That group of people there, they know each other. If they need help with something, anything from, a spot at the bench, all the way to a machine may not be working properly, all the way to how was your 4th of July, right? We've got several of those groups in cadence throughout the day. So it's like your 5:30 group, they work out till 6:30, 7 o'clock. Then rolling in right after them, you've got your 8:30, your 10:30, your 4:30, your 6:30. So where we're different is you could come in at any one point during the day, and although the faces will change, the breath of fresh air inside the facility will not. Everyone is still kind. Everyone is respectful. Everyone is lifting each other up. The community here and the culture here, it's really hard to describe. And I talk about it a lot, in some of the other publications that we do. But when people come in and they actually get to experience it for the first time, they're like, man, this absolutely is different.
We found that people kind of often start with a burst of motivation and then just kind of disappear a few weeks later, or do you attract a different group?
So we definitely have what I call my OGs, right? The original gangsters that have been around and been Body Masters members, some of them for, 10 to 15 years, even before it was called Body Masters, right? So you definitely have those people, and those people are you're religious. They come 5 to 7 days a week at the same time, no matter what, even if they're on vacation, sometimes I catch them in here sneaking in and out, right? So you definitely do have those. But one of the things that I do pride ourselves on is all gyms are going to have some small amount of like you said, turnover, right? And those are the people that are going to come in like a whirlwind. They're going to work out, 4 or 5 days, maybe even 6, 7 days a week. And they're going to do that for 2 weeks to 30 days, right? Because they've made a dedication to themselves, whether it's a New Year's resolution, whether they're trying to get into a bikini or a bathing suit body, whether it's their sister's wedding, it doesn't matter, right? Whatever the cause behind it. And then you're right. Once they start to feel a little better, once they hit one piece of their goal, if you will, or even on the way, then they jump out. One of the things I think that is different, certainly at Body Masters, is when you have that community that we just talked about a minute ago, and you have that sense of welcome, and you don't feel off when you walk in the gym. One of the worst things in the world, I'm sure I've experienced it myself when I'm out of town. You walk into a gym, it's a brand new place. You don't know where the bench press is. You don't know where the cable machine is. You don't know where anything is. You can barely even locate a treadmill because you're just like a deer in headlights, right? That's one of the worst feelings in the world. And when you simply walk in and you can tell that everyone here is just, man, they're just like your neighbor, if you will, not to be too cheesy here on your podcast, right? But it's like they are. And so, they walk in, there's a smiling face. Hey, is this your first time here? You know what I mean? Hey, did you just sign up? Hey, do you need me to help find anything? And I'm not talking about employees or trainers, because I've got the best employees, and we have hands down the best trainers in the state of Oklahoma. There's nobody that can challenge me on that. I would love to see them try. But even outside of my employees and my actual trainers, right? I'm talking about members that say, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? You know what I mean? Do you need help finding something? Is this your first time here? Those kind of questions are relatively unprecedented, right? Coming from members in a big box gym.
Yeah, that's truly unique. And I understand when you said good neighbor, it made me laugh because you also have an HVAC company called, is it Good Neighbor Heat and Air?
That's correct. Yeah, we just started back in February. We have taken off. We're in full flight. Not quite the cruising altitude yet, but we're on our way. It's been a fun and exciting couple months.
Yeah, it sounds like you're an entrepreneur through and through. What other entrepreneurial interests do you have cooking right now?
Man, I love nonprofit stuff. My heart is huge. That's not quite entrepreneurial, but I truly believe that part of the reason, why I've been so successful is because, one of the principles that I live by, it's a biblical principle for me, but, hey, it doesn't have to be for everybody. I believe it's just a good life principle in general, is when you do have an abundance, you know what I mean? I feel like it's our job as brothers and sisters, to help people, period, hands down. And so, one of the things that I love is we're a sponsor of Project Orphans, which is, believe it or not, it's a local nonprofit here in Tulsa, started and founded right here by Brittany Stokes. Phenomenal woman, phenomenal organization. She has also started Tulsa Girls Home, which I'm the president of the board there. My TGH is really where my heart is. The work that we're doing there in foster care is absolutely amazing. And then, believe it or not, I just started, my lifelong dream. My dream has always been to have a custom automotive shop. And my daughter, if you will, that we're going to adopt, is the shop is named after her. And so it is going to be up and running here in the next 60 days. But I'm really excited about that one. That one's more of a passion project, but I love small business. I believe small business is the lifeblood of America, right? We are the ones that are out there ground pounding. We are the ones that are out there actually turning and burning every day. We're the ones that, and I always joke and I say that, look, there's nothing wrong with shopping at Amazon. I love Amazon. I shop at Amazon myself, but you're not helping Jeff Bezos, right? He's taking trips to the moon and back, okay? When you shop small business, when you shop local, you're not buying some CEO, another plane, or another Mercedes-Benz. You're buying a pair of ballet shoes, right? For that owner's daughter is what you're doing. So I believe, again, it's the lifeblood of America. And, any way that, I can help small business owners myself, I do some small business coaching on the side as well. But, just operating good small businesses where I have excellent people that work for me. We have very competitive pay. We make sure to take care of and love on our people. Man, that's just part of that whole almost like community, like what we talked about a minute ago with Body Masters, right? So.
And have you found that these skill sets are transferable? As in, what you're doing with Body Masters, you also kind of do with Good Neighbor and with your auto body shop and with the nonprofits, or are they all very unique?
So they definitely represent their own unique set of challenges. I thought that they would blindly transfer in skill set, obviously because I had a construction company that was very successful. So I thought running and operating a gym, no problem. I got this. I can do it with my eyes closed. It is really, the challenges are similar, but also very different. I would say the best analogy I could make, it's almost like a hitter in baseball, right? You've got certain things that are your strengths. You might be a fastball hitter. You know what I'm saying? You might be an off-speed hitter, whatever that is. You can certainly hit anything, right? I mean, that's the idea behind being a good hitter is you take whatever comes at you and you run with it. But there's certainly things that you do better than others. I think that there is a lot of, transposing from one to another. They do represent their own different set of challenges. But I think for small business owners and people that have entrepreneurial mindsets, like myself, I think one of the factors that a lot of people don't necessarily take into consideration, there are certain people that really, when they get introduced to a challenge, that either fires them up, right? Because they're like, I want to figure it, and that's me, right? I want to figure it out. Like when people say that can't be done, all I heard is Andy, find a way, right? And so that's one of the things that I love to do. And so, but not everybody is like that. Some people, because there's a lot of inherent risk, right? There's a lot of inherent stress. There's a lot of inherent, it's very problematic. And so if looking at that on the surface, if something like that scares you, then man, a 9 to 5 or working for somebody else is definitely probably more in your wheelhouse. But when you hear things like that, if you hear the things like, man, I had to, before I got on this podcast, I had a trailer. I was unloading the trailer of lumber right over at my custom auto shop because I got a guy on vacation. So I went and hooked up dragged it, unloaded it, did it all myself, ran in here. Good thing you don't have to smell me, right? And now we're doing this podcast. And so I think that entrepreneurial mindset of just conquering anything and everything that gets thrown at you, right, in a positive manner, and really not allowing it to affect your attitude and or your tenacity, how excited you are to tackle the next project is, man, it is something I think that's probably talked about a lot, right? But I think that that's one of the intangibles that is, it's really hard to describe. But when you meet people that are like that, right, you kind of know, you're like, man, that guy he's just full of it. He's always got energy and he's always smiling from the time he wakes up to the time he goes to bed, and so that style, if you will, of rise and grind is, it's imperative, so it's similar challenges, but when you meet the day with the face or the voice of, I'm going to win the day, doesn't always mean I'm going to win every second of it, but I'm going to win the day overall, then I think that, whether we're talking about, I've always joked around and said, whether I'm selling scaffold, which was my previous business, selling tiddlywinks or gym memberships, right? I'll be good at it. And even if I'm not great at it, then I'll certainly be the hardest worker in the room. So.
And what's the best way for our listeners to maybe follow along with your story, maybe visit Body Masters, explore what all you have going on, or just simply connect with the team?
For Body Masters, for sure, we've got a great website. We've got a contact form on there that you can jump on. One of our slogans is, sorry, we've got construction going on in the background. I don't know if you can hear that a little bit or not. But one of the things that we always say is, our first workout is always free. I definitely want people to, if you will, dip their toe in the water to make sure it's a good fit for them. People work out typically within 3 miles of their work or their home, right? Because it's convenience. It's hugely convenience related. And so I tell people, hey, man, jump online, fill out the waiver, come in and see us, have a tour set up so we can show you 100% of the facilities and all the amenities. And then if it's the right fit for you, we're simple, man. We're no contracts, no signups, no anything like that. We can sign you up on the spot. You can, you got to your login on your phone, if you will, your scan on your phone. And we're a 24/7 facility. So if you're interested in Body Masters, man, then absolutely, go to our website. It's BM Tulsa, like BodyMastersTulsa.com. You can, you can even sign up on there if you want to instantly. As far as Andy Smith is concerned, man, I don't do a lot, believe it or not, on social media. I kind of walk, I always jokingly say I walk very quietly, behind scenes, and love to make big ripples in the world. But man, any of the organizations that I just spoke about, if you have a heart for the nonprofit world, whether that's, local, which would be Tulsa Girls Home, hey, I will give us a small plug there. People always ask, what can I do? And I tell them, hey, our trucks don't run on love. They take gas and PSO. They want that electric bill every month. You know what I mean? So monetary donations are always welcome there. But, whether it's a local mission like Tulsa Girls Home or John 316 or any of these other organizations, or whether it's something that you feel more compelled about, it's an overseas like Project Orphans. One of the things I always recommend to people is, man, just jump out there and do it. You don't have to be perfect, right? You don't, find an organization that you're passionate about, volunteer and go. When it came to anything else with Andy Smith and small business related, certainly if your HVAC breaks and you think a good neighbor, I'm not going to be mad at you there. But man, I love the entrepreneurial mindset. I do a lot of coaching for young men, especially, that have questions and things for me. I mean, don't be afraid to reach out on social media. Again, I'm not huge on Facebook and Instagram, but if you shoot me a message, I will respond and see if I can't help, guide or give any wisdom that I may or may not have. So.
Well, Andy, I so appreciate you being on the show, and I appreciate you giving Tulsa a place where fitness can feel personal instead of transactional, and just pouring back into the community. You're the type of story that I love to feature.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnptulsa.com. That's gnptulsa.com. Or call 918-301-6356.